Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Cues Dailies. And we are ending this episode as this horrible year of 2020 comes to an end. I've said it so many times, you've said it so many times, the whole world has said it so many times. This year just sucked. It just sucked. Now, with this being a somewhat music-related series that I'm doing here, one aspect that you could probably guess right that I thought really sucked about 2020, here in California specifically, was the closure of the movie theaters, man, the cinema. Now, personally, I just enjoy the whole, cinema atmosphere, of walking into that movie theater, watching the film on a big screen, wall-to-wall, surround sound, and just enjoying a nice box of Reese's Pieces. Alright, that's what I miss. Honestly, I've been trying to replicate this feeling as much as I can, but let's be honest, you can enjoy the movie, but it's just not the same as being in the cinema. Plain and simple. Luckily, certain television networks have decided to go ahead and play their would-be hits this year on their very own streaming services. The latest film I've seen, and the one that we'll be talking about in this episode, is Disney/Pixar's latest release on Disney Plus, Soul. So, since this film came out just last weekend, it hasn't been around too long, I'm gonna tell you all who haven't seen it, right now, spoiler warning! I will be talking about little plot points in the film that could perhaps be a big deal, okay? So, if you have not yet seen Soul, please find the time to go watch it and then come back and discuss this movie with us without the fear of any spoilers, okay? You have been warned, go watch it, then come back. Other than that, let's get to it. Now, the film revolves around our protagonist, Joe Gardner, and his musical journey as a jazz musician. It goes without saying that Disney and jazz go together like PB and J. It's just a perfect and flavorful combo. Both Disney and jazz came into the scene with immense popularity around the time of the Roaring 20s. So with these two major powerhouses really having a boom in their popularity, it was just inevitable that they would work together. Even up to now, Disney and jazz are practically inseparable, and many films have incorporated various styles of jazz, and that also includes genres that are influenced by jazz to this day. Now, what was great about Soul wasn't just how it incorporated jazz, but that it took place in New York City, the land where so many well-renowned jazz legends were brought about, and so many of them still do today from this very city. If you pay real close attention, you'll also spot some little jazz Easter eggs, so to say, in the film as well. My personal favorite is Joe's soul accidentally getting into the body of a cat. You see, it's funny because cat is like a jazz lingo between these musicians. It's what they use to basically refer to themselves as. Kind of like a, hey, what's up, cat? Or like a, man, you a cool cat. It's that type of thing. And it's funny because Joe is now a literal cat. Makes him the coolest. And now, of course, let's talk about a little bit about the music within the film. And the one scene that I really enjoyed, where I felt that just the music and the film really went hand-in-hand together, was the chase scene between Cat Joe and 22 Joe. Now, Joe wants to be back in his body because he's got the gig of his life. But we have 22 who wants to stay on Earth now, and they have a short little chase through the hustling and bustling streets of an NYC neighborhood. Now, the big band's polyphonic textures being played just really emphasize the setting of New York City's non-stop, always lively, never sleeping, big city life where just so much is happening, always at the same time, every single time. So as the chase comes to an end, we hear the tune transitioning into another piece of music in order to contrast the setting of New York. And for that, we have the theme used for Terry, our somewhat antagonist. Now here in Terry's theme, we have what I feel is a little less sense of a polyphonic texture as compared to the previously mentioned big band track. The musical lines here are, I would say, just a bit more tamed and less like spontaneous than the lines we heard previously in the big band. It's really emphasizing how everything in Terry's eyes, his character, is all about like coming together for perfect harmony without too much strain away from a very predictable path. Terry's character is all about being like highly systematic and orderly, which contrasts the unpredictability of New York's setting and not being able to live with a mistake, having to go back and fix it, you know, where he's like, something's wrong with the count and all that stuff. It's also great contrast to the whole concept of jazz overall, which is to just don't be afraid of making mistakes and just play on through. Overall, great contrast in the music between our protagonist and our antagonist. We have Joe, the veteran in jazz, where there is just room for spontaneity and unpredictability. And we have Terry, the calculative, formulaic entity, where every little piece has to just follow a set order. Our antagonist and our protagonist, both opposites, both having certain elements of their character contrasted so well in the music, representing them. Really well done. So guys, there is great music in the film, but also, you see, because it was a film about music, musicians, I just felt that there were some personal like connections I have with this film, to be honest, that I'm gonna talk about here. At the very beginning, where he's teaching us class, like, we get this. Musicians, we love to perform, and we would love to like get paid to do all that stuff, you know, but it's just not steady income, and we have to eventually realize that teaching is a steady form of income. So, you know, we gotta be able to live, feed ourselves, pay rent, so, you know, teach, sure, why not? And just so you know, to be that good of a musician as Joe was, takes so much time and practice. So much time and practice and dedication. And also to be a certified educator, to go into public schools and teach and stuff, that takes even more time after you graduate from school to be certified, alright? So the next time you see a music teacher, or just any teacher in general, especially for those of you watching who are still in public schools, playing in your bands in your classroom, go and give them a hug, cause they worked hard for that, you know, to be that good of a musician or whatever type of profession they're in, and then to spend the extra time to be certified to teach, give them a hug. They work hard. Teachers, we love you. We love you. And also, probably one of the coolest little things that we connect here is that whole concept of being in the zone. Being in the zone. Now you see, as a musician, it's this weird, like, just almost unexplainable phenomenon. Like, I'll try, but like, if you're a fellow musician, you know what they're talking about, like being in the zone, performing out there. It's this whole like just like this like place of mind where all of your worries, your criticisms, your overall overthinking, it just disappear, and you just let the music come out of you and speak for itself. Like, it's all your knowledge that you've learned and the technique that you've acquired come together and just play and come to life. It speaks for itself without your mind having to really think about it. It just comes and you are experiencing it. It's just an amazing moment that so many of you musicians out there, I know you felt this before when performing, and hell, even other professionals have too, you know? We see that in the film, just being in the zone. You know what it is, and it feels awesome. A little story here, like last time I was in the zone, basically I had this gig. Prior to the gig, I did something so stupid that I did get very angry with myself. I criticized myself. I basically hated myself. I got very angry, upset, but you know, luckily I got all of that out before the gig. So I arrived at the gig pretty much defeated, you know, with this kind of like mindset of like, you know what, the bad stuff's happened, just go in there and play. But that's the thing, I told myself, the bad stuff's happened, just go in there and play. So you see, all my criticisms and all my self-doubts had already happened, and I've let them out. So now, it's like all that was in my mind was to just go in there and play, man. Like, depressed as heck, but still, just go in there and play. And there were some tunes, there were some spots where I was playing where it was like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. Musicians, you know what I mean. You've all been there, again. And it's like, again, getting in that zone is, we attain it all differently, you know? We attain getting in that zone differently. And for me, like, that was just incredible. For me, I would say, like, getting in the zone last time I felt it was no self-doubt, no overthinking, no self-criticism, because musicians are our worst critics, our own selves. Believe me, we hate ourselves a lot. But yes, getting rid of all that, like I had prior, I got upset, and just going in there and just playing. It's just, again, in the zone. It's an incredible feeling. All of you will probably experience that at some point. I hope you do, and I'll see you there, hopefully. And now, guys, the last message in the film, and I mean, this is the part where it just got all so real with us, you know? It really did. I feel like it did anyways, and I feel that not just musicians, but I feel that this is the message that all of us, whatever we are, whatever profession, all that stuff, whatever our passions are, we should really take from it. So speaking of that, guys, it is good to have our passions and stuff, and whatever it is we love to do. I mean, of course, it's great if you want to go and reach that mastery professional level of it. I mean, it's great, but at the same time, like, this film just reminded me that sometimes it just becomes such a life obsession that you forget to actually live life itself. We see that in the film with the whole concept of the lost souls. We see it in the film too with Joe, you know, like he had been so obsessed with jazz his whole life to the point where it's like it's all he ever talked about with his friends and stuff. And then to the highest point that he had in life, you know, this whole jazz obsessed life of his, he reached that gig, you know, playing with Dorothea Williams, and it just, in a way, it still didn't really make him feel alive. Joe would have just ended up being another lost soul playing the gig every single day of his life. It took 22 being in Joe's body and living, actually living life itself for Joe to see that he really had been missing out on living. And I thought it was just so beautiful that at the very end, when Joe finally helped 22 find her so-called purpose, going into Earth, which he learned himself was really to just go into Earth, be alive, and just live life. Just live. Go enjoy that delicious slice of pizza. Enjoy every little bit of walking you do. Enjoy every little conversation you have. Just remember to just always live your life and don't be too obsessed with something, or you know what I mean. Just live. So I really did connect with that message of the film, you know. I mean, I guess as a musician too, but really just as anyone, you know, anyone could feel this way. That for me specifically, it was just trying to be the best musician I could be, you know, and then like studying it in school, you know, higher education and all that stuff, like to be even better. I forgot that I forgot to live. I've always loved music, I still love music, and you know, as I went further in my education, you know, to become a better musician, you know, study music and get better, I started thinking to myself that, like, you know, I am a musician, whatever I do as a musician, that's what only matters. If I fail at this as a musician, I fail at life. I freaking hate myself, get depressed, hate yourself. Musicians, you know what I mean, or anybody there who feels this way, you know what I mean. And, you know, like, luckily I was surrounded by supportive friends and supportive family, supportive teachers. Remember, give them a hug. And I remember this conversation I was having with a great teacher of mine from community college, where we had this little discussion similar to this and whatnot, you know, and I remember this great piece of advice that he gave me. Remember that you are more than just a musician. That you're more than just a guitarist. Basically, you know, that I'm a human being. So yeah, I kind of connected with that, you know, like in the film, Joe was so obsessed with being the best jazz musician, he forgot to live life, and, you know, he felt that because he never reached that, like, golden gig, or like anything like that, that his life did not have any meaning. But we gotta remember that when it comes to the whole like meaning of life, we ourselves give meaning to life. We create our purpose. We create our own meaning. So that's the rule I go by living life. So yeah, guys, I mean, if there is any message that, well, I would love to give to you all listening who are starting off the new year, remember that, like, if you're a musician, whatever you are, accountant, doesn't matter. Remember that you're more than just what your profession is, you know? You're more than your talents. You're more than probably what you think. And remember especially that you are the one that gives meaning to your life. Nothing else, no one else does. So you go and you create your own meaning, you create your own purpose. And remember, more importantly, to just enjoy every little ounce of life that you can. Cause dang it, last year, literally probably just a day or two ago, it was a crazy year, and we should really appreciate all the little things we have, you know, cause you never know what can happen in this crazy freaking world. So yeah, guys, just the overall main message is to just live your life with every little piece of happiness that you can, you know? I really hope that all of you guys do, you know, like, become the best that you can be at whatever it is, music, whatever it is, but also don't forget to just live life, guys, because damn it, we all need to. And so, guys, I just thought that Soul provided just a really great message for us to really take into consideration, you know, just live life. And live it as good as you can, you know? So guys, with that being said, I really hope that you are all living life right now as good as you can be, doing what you love, you know, whatever little dilemmas come your way, that always happens, you know? You deal with them how you can, you give yourself purpose, and I hope that, you know, after watching this video, you can continue your day just living. And guys, well, I guess that's enough, like, positive rambling coming from me now. But again, I guess the usual, I gotta say, I enjoyed this film, great positive message, really good connecting with it on a personal level, great music, and just overall, I enjoyed it. And again, I really do hope that all of you guys could take this message from this movie, especially going into this new year, you know, because last year, we really gotta learn to just appreciate every little piece of life that, you know, if anything, last year taught us, so start this new year off great, guys. Make it as best as you can. And again, guys, the usual, you know, like, thanks for watching. I hope you go and live life like the movie says, and feel free, if you like, to comment, subscribe, hit the like button, whatever you like. But more than importantly, like the film says, guys, remember, go and live life, make it as best as you can be. How many times have I said that now, right? But it's very true. As usual, guys, I enjoyed my time here talking with you, and I hope to see you in the next video with more positive vibes. Again, take care of yourselves. Remember, you control your purpose, you give yourself meaning. You go and just, once again, live life best you can. And like I always say, stay creative.